Hey, savvy social workers, let's get into today's question of the day. A social worker is meeting with a 30-year-old medical student who was referred for symptoms of depression and declining academic performance. The client describes a chaotic childhood, sexual molestation by a family member, and struggles with maintaining interpersonal relationships. The client states that he is afraid that he won't be able to graduate medical school due to his demanding professors. He acknowledges using cocaine and marijuana almost daily for several years, but states that it doesn't affect his school performance. The social worker should first. Okay, so I'm looking at where I am in the helping process with this client first, and it says the social worker is meeting. So that lets me know that I am in the beginning phases of the helping process, which means I should be focusing on engaging this client and gathering information about what his problems are. So it's a 30-year-old medical student who was referred due to symptoms of depression and declining academic performance. That is my initial situation, or what I like to call the presenting problem or the presenting issue. He came because he is having symptoms of depression and declining academic performance. The client describes a chaotic childhood and all these other things that we already read through. He says that he's afraid that he won't be able to graduate medical school, and he acknowledges using the cocaine and marijuana almost daily. So what we want to do is we want to look at all of these problems that the client has disclosed to us and pick out which one is the most important or the priority that we should be dealing with first, because this is the first question, and we know with first questions we are looking to do the most important thing about whatever the priority problem is. Okay, so would the priority be the fact that he has a chaotic childhood that includes sexual molestation and struggling to maintain his interpersonal relationships? Is that more important than him being afraid about graduating medical school, or the fact that he is using cocaine and marijuana almost daily? Well, we know, according to some of the golden rules, what I like to call the golden rules of social work, is that substance abuse is always a priority. So we would want to prioritize the fact that he's using cocaine and marijuana on a daily basis. So we still want to consider the situation that's going on here, everything that has been presented, but we also want to focus on the priority problem, the main thing, because that's what the ASWB exam wants us to base our answer off of. So yes, all of this is important, but taking priority, we know we can't solve all these problems at one time. So according to Maslow, we use that when we are trying to prioritize our client's needs. And in this case, we know that, like I said, substance abuse or substance use is going to be a priority. So prioritizing this, we're looking for the most important thing that we would want to do about this acknowledgement. Would that be A, focus on the client's childhood experiences, how the childhood experiences are affecting his coping skills? Is that going to address the fact that he's using cocaine and marijuana on a daily basis? It is not, so we can eliminate that one. B, focus on his substance use. Is that going to be the most important way to address the fact that he's using cocaine and marijuana almost daily? Yes, it is, so we're going to pause that. C, focus on the client's issues with interpersonal relationships. That is not going to address our priority, so we are going to eliminate that. And of course, the only answer choice that addresses what our priority is going to be B. So that's going to be our answer, because substance use, whenever it's a part of the priority issue, should be addressed first. Now, I do want to also just stress that even though he has all these other issues going on, the sexual molestation and all that's happened in the past, we want to deal with what is the priority in the moment, and substance use is the priority in the moment. That's why it's the answer. But you see how if we would have focused on, let's just say this was our priority issue, then we could have picked either A or C to address it, because it would have addressed, either the childhood experiences or the interpersonal relationships, whichever one you would find more important. However, that is not the priority. So that's why these answers are not correct in this case. I hope that makes sense. If not, leave me some comments and I will definitely try my best to address whatever concerns that you have with understanding this question. Okay, getting into another question. A social worker is meeting with a mother and her 12-year-old daughter for an initial assessment. The mother states that her boyfriend is physically abusive toward her and threatened to beat her daughter for not washing the dishes. The mother states that she had to take the beating to protect her daughter. What should the social worker do first? Okay, I'm not going to even say what I would do first as a social worker, but we're going to get into this question and try to stick with the issue at hand while we're here, okay? So, it says again, the social worker is meeting, so that lets me know that we are in the beginning phase of the process. That's just the way the ASWB exam kind of comes at these questions. I've learned and seen enough of these questions to know when it says is meeting, that means we're in the beginning. Now, if it says something like is seeing, then that could denote that we are in maybe we've already been seeing the client for more than one session. So is meeting, that means we are just kind of getting with these people for the first time. So we're meeting a mother and her 12-year-old daughter for an initial assessment, which also lets me know that we are in the beginning phase of the helping process. Okay, so the mother states that her boyfriend is physically abusive towards her and threatened to beat her daughter for not washing dishes. That's going to be our presenting problem and a big problem. And the mother states that she had to take the beating to protect her daughter. That is going to be our priority. I do like to stress that we want to pay attention to what's in quotations, but let me be clear that just because it's in quotation doesn't always mean that it is the priority, but it is a good indicator that it is related or, closely related to being what the priority issue is. So just for good practice, always pay attention to whatever they have in quotations. So in this case, we're doing an initial assessment with a mother and her 12-year-old. The mother is in this abusive relationship with this man who's threatening to beat her daughter. And so to prevent that from happening, she had to take a beating for her daughter. And so the question is asking, what should we do first? Or what is the most important thing we need to do about the mother stating that she had to take a beating to protect her daughter? Notice again, I am bringing this back to the priority problem. The presenting problem, we do consider that she's in an abusive relationship and that her daughter was threatened. But the main issue here, what I have to base my answer off of, is what is the most important thing to do about the fact that she had to take a beating for her daughter. Now, will that be A, inform the mother that the child must be removed from the home due to the toxic environment? Well, we would definitely want the child being removed out of the home. So we will pause that. Not sure if that will be the most important thing to do because we have other answer options to consider, but that is something important that needs to happen. B, inform the mother that a child abuse report must be made because of the imminent risk of the child being abused. That too is very important, that of something that we will want to do because this is a minor child who is at risk of being abused, if not already being abused. Okay, so we're going to pause that one as well. C, help the mother create a safety plan for she and her daughter. Well, it's already clear that she's not safe. She already had to take a beating for her daughter. And so as a social worker, we want to make sure that we are protecting the minor in this situation, or doing what's in best interest for the child. So this is not going to be the most important thing for us to do, to create a safety plan for her and her daughter. Now, if she wants to stay there and be a part of that, we can create a safety plan for her. But at this point, her and the daughter are our clients, and of course we put extra concern when there's a minor child involved because we have a duty to protect them. So it's going to be out of A and B. So I tell my clients, whenever we get between two answer choices that are really good, we want to play the situation live in our mind and do what fits best there. So again, playing this live in my mind, I have this mother and this 12-year-old child who is at risk of getting beat for not washing dishes, even to the extreme of the mother having to take this beating so that the daughter wouldn't do it. What would be the most important thing that we need to do in this case to protect this child from being abused? well, I wouldn't just want to tell the mother that the child must be removed from the home due to the toxic environment. I would actually want to do something about that. And in doing something about that, I would have to inform her that a child abuse report must be made because this child is in imminent risk of danger of being abused. So the signs of potential and suspected child abuse by her partner are clear. Therefore, we as social workers are mandated to report this. So the answer would be to definitely report this. Again, let me know if y'all have any questions about either of these questions. I appreciate you guys being here. As always, please like and share this video with anyone who you think could benefit from it. Ask whatever questions you have in the comment section. I am always happy to read them as well as reply back to them. Until next time, let's continue to get those passes the savvy way.